Okay, I'm going to make a quick video. I say quick, but it'll probably be 15 plus minutes. We're going to make just a quick tutorial of your cabinet. Okay, so everything is labeled, so this is pretty self-explanatory, okay? We have obviously player one, and we have player one coin and player one start. We have player two coin and start. Player three coin and start. We have our trackball. We also have trackball buttons up top. These two joysticks here are technically the same joystick. This is an 8-way joystick. This is a 4-way joystick. And then we have player 4 controls and player 4 credit. Now here we have start. This is not to start a game. This is actually enter on your keyboard. Exit will exit almost every single game. Pause. I believe it'll only pause arcade games, but I haven't tested it out on anything else. And mode is literally only made for a configuration option inside of arcade games only. And I will show you that here in a bit. Now we've got our pinball buttons down below on both sides. We've also got our plunger button, right? Just like how you pull back the plunger. Now you can also use your joystick to hold back to pull back the plunger. And then this is a flipper. This is a flipper. This is a flipper here. And this is a flipper. Okay, that's a nudge. And this is a nudge. That's a nudge. And this is a nudge. Okay, now you have your volume port on the side. You're going to have to take this off. It's on there pretty good. You're going to have to take this off whenever you get this in your doorway. All right? You can turn your volume up, turn it down, turn it on, turn it off. Put headphones inside. Okay? And it just sticks right on the side. Now, on the very top of the cabinet, I don't know if you can see, you have your remote up top. And over there, you have your power button. All right, now I've wired this into your computer's power supply. So when you press that button, all the LED lights will come on. Your LED lights are also wired into your computer's power supply. So again, when you press that button, everything will turn on. And I'm going to turn this off real quick and then we'll boot it up together. Okay, I've turned everything off and I've got your remote control from the top. So all I'm going to do is reach around here, press the button. Everything will come on. Your monitor will not come on by itself. It may come on when you turn everything on at once, is possible, but I don't think so. So far it hasn't. Now, I wouldn't keep your light guns. I'm going to have all these wound up for you. I wouldn't keep those plugged in just because they're really long cords. All right, so it's going to boot into Windows. Give it a few seconds, about 5 or 6 seconds, and it will boot directly into hyperspin. Okay, now, once you're inside of hyperspin, I'm going to show you how to navigate the wheel. All right, 1 second. Okay, so we'll remove these right now. Okay, so when we're operating this, we're going to use player one joystick. The second joystick works as well, but player one joystick to navigate our wheel. Okay, now, again, I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, but there's a lot of stuff on here. So, let's talk about how to navigate. So when we see that flash, you can see it only flashes for a second. It's a banner. When you want to go into a wheel to play, you simply press player one start. This is going to be our main function button across the whole system is player one start. Okay, our second two main function buttons are going to be player one credit and exit. All right, and we're going to explain that in a minute. So when I want to get into a wheel, I simply press player one start. Notice that will not let me go into a wheel because it's not a wheel. It's just a label. It's designed to tell you that everything underneath that label is an arcade game, right? So we have all these different arcade games, arcade makers is a better word. So they're labeled out in different makers, sometimes genres, gun games, trackball games, until we get to another banner. When I try to go into that, it's just a banner. It's a pinball banner. So anything in between pinball and arcade is in theory an arcade game. Then you have pinball, 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 lots of pinballs. And then we have a collections wheel. Let's see. That's out of order just a bit, but this is a collections wheel, right? It tells you it's a collection. So anything underneath this is collections. So you have the Mario collection. So you go into the wheel and lots of the different Marios, not necessarily all of the Marios, but lots of the Marios are on here. Okay, this is cool. You have the different Mario Karts, Mario Kart Super Nintendo. Okay, we got a bunch on here. And when I want to get out of the wheel, I simply press the coin button. So my main two buttons are going to be player one start and player one coin. Now it's taking me back out to the main wheel. All right, so now I'm still in collections. There's lots of collections. Lots of collections. Until we get to a console wheel. Right? Console banner. So then we have our consoles underneath. Hacked games, Super Nintendo CD, Super Nintendo Hack. There's tons of these on here. Wii. Alright, and then you're going to keep going. Then you have different consoles. You have PS2, PS1, Xbox, Atari. And then there's a handheld banner. And then you're right back around to the top. Okay, so really simple. Let's go into our main wheel. And then you have all this other junk that's on here. Yeah, some PC games. This is one of my favorite wheels, the fighting games. Some of the games inside there do not work, but my favorite game works. Mortal Kombat 10 and Injustice. Crap. And then right back around to the beginning. Okay, now MAME is the main emulator. This is for all the arcades. This is where all these live. Technically, all these are duplicates. Right, so this is SNK's arcades, Sega's arcades, Namco, Konami's arcades, but technically you can go into one wheel and technically they're all right here. There's like 8,000 games in this one wheel. Now you can hold your joystick down or you can hold your joystick to the right or to the left and pick a letter, J. Then I can press the player one start and it will take me right to the J's. Now once I'm in here, player one button 5, okay, is a favorites button. I can go here and add this game as a favorites if I wanted by pressing player one start, okay, or I can remove it, or I can go in and view my favorites. And now I've already set a handful. In some of the systems, there's lots of favorites already in there. There used to be some in here, but let's check out the turtles. When I want to play a game, simply press player one start. Now remember, this is a computer, so at the end of the day, we don't want kids button mashing all over. I mean, that's control, that's alt, that's, I think, equal sign. So pressing these buttons is no different than mashing on a bunch of stuff at your house on the computer. Okay, now when you're inside here, you're going to treat this just like the original game. Some of these are quirky, and it's just the way that they work, right? So this one, coin, it's requiring me to coin from that person's chute, right? That's player 3. Now, when I want to go in the arcade game, you press player 1, button 1. So it's emulated the same way. Now as this is starting up, when you press mode, you can pause a game. When you press mode, you can go in here, and this is explaining, this is that configuration menu that I was telling you about. Now when you're inside of here, player 1 start is again your main control button. Okay, so we use our joystick. Input general, I press player 1 start. Go down to player 1 controls, and this is all the key controls for all of MAME. Okay, so up is up, down, left, right, same thing, but you can see button 1 is control, button 2 is alt, button 3 is space, and so on and so forth. Okay, now if you keep going down here, all right, where I start at the top, but there's this is a big long list. So if I just go backwards, you can see this is where you would set up your light gun controls. So when I hook your light gun up, light gun 1 is hooked up, right? But the second light gun is recognizing as the same control. So that was definitely the problem. So, okay, so this is how you would set that stuff up. You have trackballs, dials, steering wheels. All this stuff is set up here. Now all this is already set up for you. That doesn't mean you're not going to run into a game that you need to do a configuration on. So let me show you. Go to Return to Previous Menu. Now, input this is just this one game. This one game, excuse me, this one game is using up, down, left, right, button 1 and button 2. Up, down, left, right, button 1 and button 2 for player 2. If you wanted to go in and make a change, real simple, simply press player 1 start, those little arrows pop up, and now the next button you touch will technically become that button. It's that easy to make a change. If you screw up, you can very simply, let's just say I did down, right? You can just go on your keyboard, you can press delete, and then it will say none. I can press it again. Again, we're going to press player 1 start, and then I'm going to go up. Okay, so really easy to make settings. Now you can only do this inside of an arcade game. Unfortunately, you cannot do this inside of anything else. Okay, so I'm going to go to return to previous menu, turn to machine, and I'm going to unpause my game. Okay, so now we are up and running. Now I've already showed you that everything works, so we won't do that here. But another thing you can change is the video. Go down to the video, player 1 start. I can expand this to a little bit bigger of a screen if you want it. You can also do cheats, right? One hit kills. Let's see. One hit kills. That's pretty awesome. Okay, exit. All right, now it's going to take you right back to where you were. All right, so whenever you press the coin button, it will take you out of that wheel, and we're back into our main wheel. So we know how to get in a wheel, pressing the coin start button, and we know how to get out of a wheel, pressing the coin button. Now this is the same way across all the different games. I did get this one working. I don't know if the other two work, but Mario Kart Grand Prix definitely works. It's super awesome. We'll go into that and show you this real quick, and then I'll show you a pinball, and then we'll talk about how to take the control panel off. Okay, so once you're inside here, you can only play one player because, again, this was a sit-down driving game. Now, when you're inside of other games, you just gotta kind of figure out what the buttons are. Sometimes it's a little difficult. There's no roadmap. It's not universal because every system was set up a bit differently. But this one seems to work by pressing player 1, button 1. This game is super awesome. Okay. Really simple, just like you play any other Mario Kart. This was just a little bit more advanced. When you want to get out of a game, simply press exit. Okay, exit. Simple. Hit the coin, player 1 coin to back out. Okay, you can go into your gun games the same way, go into your trackball games the same way. There's tons of cool games in the trackball. Again, we kind of talked about the exception to the rule being Pinball FX3. Sometimes you can press the start button and there's a script written inside that will take you right to the game, and other times it doesn't. In Pinball FX2, it will take you there every single time. So this one game has a script written, start new game. Okay, now sometimes the controls don't set, which is a little unusual. I think that's just because he has multiple emulators emulating this. Just go in and set them real quick, really easy. Left flipper, right flipper, launch, nudge, nudge. Okay, and boom, you're up and running. Resume game. Okay, you want to exit, hit exit, and it's going to bring up this menu. Resume, start, table guide, leaderboard options, view, upgrades. We're going to exit the single player. We're going to press the little arrow in the back all the way out. All the way out. Okay, now, what I would personally do inside of this particular wheel is I would just go right into Aliens. because Aliens takes you into the same emulation that we're using on our 1 terabyte. It looks like he's kind of combined those because some of the tables must have been problematic. So it's much easier if you just go in this way. Maybe not. All right. Let's see. All right. That's a little hang up. Okay, so when something like this happens, obviously there's nothing anybody can do about that, right? It is not, it's just kind of hung up there. So when this happens, we have to just simply Control, Alt, Delete, right on out, use our trackball. Alright, so Pinball FX3 has hung up this whole system, so it won't even let us do that. So unfortunately, with something like this, we have no choice but to do a reboot. This is definitely going to happen from time to time. It is incredibly rare. I almost never have to do that. On our 1 terabytes, we don't do it too much. It might happen a little more frequently on a 16 terabyte because there's like 80 programs all running together, and at any given moment programs can collide. So but again, it doesn't happen too often. I've played tons of Pinball FX3 games and this has not happened yet, but it is worth it because Pinball FX3 is pretty awesome. Now when you're using your Xbox controllers and stuff like that, just remember they need to be turned on before you actually start a game. Again, this will boot right into hyperspin. Okay, so system's rebooted. Let's go check out Pinball FX3 again. Player 1 start. We go right into Aliens.
Loading complete.
So I believe this will take us into, again, the older emulation. Yep, it does. So you just use this as a key, as a trackball and mouse, and you just pick a table inside. So much easier. I would just live in here. See these little white arrows, and there's more tables inside, right? Really simple. I just press single player over and over and over. Controls are already set in this one. Pretty awesome. Okay, when you want to get out, again, exit. We're going to exit out to single player and walk it all the way out. Now, on this one, you don't have to walk it all the way out. If you want to play another table, cool. Go into the other table this way. All right, so I'm going to back out of that. Now, when you're playing Pinball FX2, you do not need to do that. Press my coin to get out. Pinball FX2 has less tables inside, but script is written already inside. So it will launch the game for you, and when you exit, it will exit out of the game.
Complete.
Okay, and exit. Okay, coin to get out, and now the other pinballs, kind of the same thing. I have not tested all of them out. I have tested visual pinball. This one's cool because you can play up to 4 players on it, so super cool. You have all these different collection wheels. Going into any of your console games is the same as going into anything else. Press the coin button, pick a game, press start, and then you just got to figure out your controls. There's only an A and a B, so most likely it will be A and B, but not always. Start. Okay, so I won't go into this because this video is getting pretty long. Now you can press the favorites button again, player 1 button 5. Go into my favorites, And there's already a bunch of cool favorites inside here for you. Okay, hit my coin to get out. And that's it. That's really the whole system. Wii is pretty cool. I'm going to turn this on. So, going to my favorites. You can play Mario Kart, super awesome. Don't even need a Wiimote for it. Me and my kid were just playing. He was getting very angry that I was spanking his little booty. So you're going to have tons and tons and tons of fun. Just at the end of the day, remember, it is a computer. Your best friend is Alt and Tab. Holding down Alt, pressing Tab, and you can toggle through the different screens that are open. I've never seen anything that you cannot exit out of by pressing Alt and Tab, except for Pinball FX3. All right, so we'll see. All right, so you just got to figure out what the buttons are. I think it's this one to start. Nope. Oh, it's this button. All right. Oh. All right, so I don't have all those set yet, so let's do 2-player for now. And I'll set these other 2 controls for you too. So now I'm playing Wii Mario Kart on your freaking brand new arcade. I never play Wii Mario Kart because we don't have this on the 1 terabyte, so this thing is pretty freaking rad. It's the button in the corner, so player 1, button 3. I'm gonna run over some people. Bam, look at that. Get over here. Bam, just running over people. Okay? Exit. And you're right back in Wii. I haven't tested any other games out inside of Wii. Really simple. That's how we play pretty much everything. Sometimes things take a long time to load, and sometimes they don't. Really just depends on the system. Other than that, pretty simple and easy to use. So we'll load up this one more game, and then that will conclude our tutorial. So far we have learned how to get into a wheel by pressing player 1 start, get out of a wheel by pressing the coin button, get out of a game by pressing the exit button. The mode button is only going to be used for our arcade games. Now see, I've got one controller lit up, so in theory I should be able to use this one controller for this game. Now on your Mortal Kombat Injustice, yep, I definitely figured out that I have one controller already on, and then I don't turn the other one on until I've started Injustice. So see, you can play with both. Come on. Okay. Do this. Alright, I'm going to get out of this because it's going to take too long on the Xbox games. But you get the drift, right? Really simple. Coin to get out. Okay, now, when I press the coin button one more time and I'm already at the main wheel, it'll ask me, do I want to exit the system? I simply press yes. Now, you can treat this just like a computer. If you need me to log on or Chris to log on, and anything program related will all be Chris. You can get into all that stuff here. If you look at this little computer icon and click it down here, you can see both of your drives. You can go into your drive here. and there's tons of stuff in here. I don't typically mess with this type of stuff because I don't update my 1 terabyte. But Chris has some recovery folders in here. You can get on his Discord and all that cool stuff, man. He's got tons of customers and all in the Discord. You can update whenever you'd like to. Okay, so that's how you get inside here. Now, right now it's online. I recommend not leaving it online. You want to update it as very little as possible. And if you do it online, then you need to make sure Windows Defender or whatever antivirus software you decide to use completely and utterly ignores both of your drives, right? So if you don't know how to do that or want to do that, I just wouldn't recommend getting online with it, so that way you never have to worry about getting a virus, and because it will quarantine your game files. Okay. Now, when you want to shut down just like a normal computer. You can go right over here and just hit power and shut down. Okay, now if you want to download Steam or anything like that, you can do so as well and do that on your desktop. There's also this little control panel here that's kind of cool. It fixes lots of things, right? So you can go in here and fix all the XML files. You can pick what drive. You can pick different control schemes, light gun setups, Xbox controllers for the 3rd and 4th player. If you wanted to have 4 Xbox controllers, you can turn off the voice, the speech, and all that type of stuff here. And when you want to get out, just get out. When you want to play hyperspin again, we'll leave that right here in the center. That's what you're going to use the most. Simply just double click on hyperspin and you are up and running, my man. Okay, so now real quick, let's talk about what you do when you get home. Okay? I mean, what you do whenever this thing gets delivered. All right, so we're just going to take these 2 lag bolts out. That bolt and that bolt. Then you have a little piece of tape in here with a little Allen wrench. That Allen wrench is for your spinner, so you can take that off. And then a steering wheel, this little steering wheel right here, pops right on in place. Okay? Now, I'm going to finish labeling these right here. Okay, so this will be really, really easy. It'll say 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 4 and 4. These are just wires that we put on for your LEDs. And then you have a USB cord going into your iPack, and it will be labeled iPack. Okay, really, really simple on that. And all you got to do is just unplug each of these, unplug the 2 trackball toggles. Again, they will all be labeled. Just unplug them, shove them down inside. There will be a wire cleanup like this, holding everything together inside. And then whenever you put your control panel back on, you just put your 2 lag bolts in right here. You feed the wires up from behind, have someone hold it, and then just plug it into its corresponding partner. Again, it will be labeled 1, 1, 2, 2, iPack, spinner, and trackball. Okie doke. Now the only thing you may need to unplug from the back may be this 1 cord here, and I'll label it inside if you do. Most likely you're definitely going to. This is for your 4-port USB port that's placed underneath the control panel. We cannot fit that device through this hole here. So you may need to go into the back and unplug this directly from your PC. Okay? That part's pretty easy. And that's pretty much all she wrote, my man. Any comments, questions, concerns, please definitely do not hesitate to reach out. Happy gaming, my man.